Thank you very much, all of you, for being here. This is our first ever seminar on for faculty, staff, international student scholars on cross-cultural awareness. I'm Dr. Jean Gounard. I'm Director of International Affairs here at Buff State, our beloved campus for all of us, each one of us. The role of this seminar is, the purpose of this seminar is a discussion around the diverse needs of international student scholars with impactful stories of shared experiences on campus. We have objectives for this seminar, and as you can see, we are positive right from the beginning. We want to build on a good solid basis already. The first objective, of course, is to celebrate the spirit of internationalism that already exists on this campus of ours. The second one, of course, is to recognize the diverse needs of international students, scholars, faculty, and staff. And the third one is certainly, and this is why we're here today, to imagine ways to make our beloved campus, our college, the thought leaders in integrating all internationals, whether they be faculty, staff, student scholars from many parts of the world. Now, we have put together, we worked as a group, part of a committee. The name of the committee is the Ad Hoc Committee for Cross-Cultural Understanding and Appreciation. Sort of the coordinator with me, working very closely with us, has been Dr. John Cabra, professor in the Department of Creative Studies. We also have had a graduate student, Hannah Bratsberg, who is majoring in Creative Studies. Very, very helpful, very involved on the planning committee. Also Nicholas Mahoney. I tend to Frenchify his first name. I always call him Nicolas, that's okay. And he's finishing his master's degree in higher education administration. Julia Sternmeyer, she's an undergraduate student majoring in exceptional education, a most outstanding undergraduate student, and I understand she's just beginning her junior year, and believe me, she has a lot of potential ahead of her. And we're delighted to have had her with us, because not only has she been involved in the planning of this second seminar, but also on April 18th of this month of the year 2012, we're going to have a major seminar for all the people who live in the residence halls to sensitize them to the importance of having international student scholars living on campus. Because starting this fall, in August, September 2012, we're expecting large numbers of internationals, especially from Brazil and China and many other countries. Also on the committee we have Maria Villardo, who is a graduate student in higher education administration. Emily Zerner, also a graduate student in that same major, higher education administration. And a graduate student in biology. Her name is Rujin Wen, and also she's been very involved with this. I'd like to mention the fourth point here, that we have sponsors for this event. First of all, of course, the Office of International Affairs, the International Club, the International Student Organization, the International Student Advisory Council, the International Center for Studies in Creativity, the Alumni Association Office, because indeed we have a lot of students. Buffalo State has been having international student scholars for the past 60 years. And those people come here, get the degree, and love to stay in touch with our campus. And the Office of International Affairs is working very closely with the Office of Alumni Affairs in staying in touch with all those former international alumni who are all over the world, who are certainly in touch with our campus, who want to make our beloved campus known to their friends, their colleagues, and the members of their families. And also we want to thank the Birchfield Penniat Center. We want to thank the people who are providing the delicacies, the French food served, the Moulin Deli Cafe, and also especially instructional resources. Mr. Ken Greco and Mr. Bruce Fox. One is taping the program, and the other one, Mr. Bruce Fox, is taking photographs that will stay there, will be memorable photographs from this seminar today. And we want to thank them for this. So the program is in place, and without much further ado, I would like to turn the program on to Dr. Hannah Bratsberg. Please. Thank you.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for being here. I'm going to run you through the agenda real quick. We're going to have a little warm-up exercise with you, a world knowledge competition. Dr. Carver is then going to take over. We're going to do some appreciative inquiry exercise. We're going to have some international students and faculty up on the table here so you can hear their stories they're going to share with you. And we're going to have a discussion around that. And at the end, we're going to have a debrief just to see what we actually talked about through this seminar today.
I just want to share with you how we've set this up in terms of putting this program together. The first activity, which is an exercise, obviously, and figuring out what these fun facts and how linking it to the country, it's set up to produce information that's going to lead into the next exercise and then to the last exercise. All that together serves as a foundation to help towards creating and generating ideas on what we can do as we move forward to either work on best practices for integration, but also to fully appreciate the internationals and recognize the internationals here on campus. And so one of the things that what we're doing now, and one of the things we thought about is a really good process to introduce is what we call appreciative inquiry. For those of you that are not familiar with appreciative inquiry, it's a change process, and it's designed to work on things that work best. In other words, it's the study of what works well in an organization and with groups. And so our thinking is, if we study what works well here on campus, we dissect it, we learn from it, then you can mimic it, you can duplicate it. And so where or what we put our focus on helps to manifest our reality. And so that's what we decided to do. And so the other thing, too, about appreciative inquiry is that it searches for solutions that exist here on campus. And so in a moment, we're going to ask you to identify stories of peak performance where we have done our best in terms of integrating and appreciating our international. And it's from those stories we'll be able to extract some themes and patterns that's going to lend itself well for our last activity. All right, so you'll notice here our instructions. And I want you to start thinking about this because you're going to work in pairs. I'm going to ask you to work or find a partner and to share a story. You're going to have 3 minutes each. And then after that, we're going to have volunteers just share the stories. So here's what I'm looking for you to focus on. Looking at your entire experience at Buffalo State College, recall a time when you felt most proud, committed, enthused with your efforts to integrate an international student or faculty member in the college community. So you're going to find a partner and you're going to discuss that. You're going to interview that partner. Now here's the heads up that when it's time to share the stories, you're not going to share your own story to the whole group. You're going to do it on behalf of your partner, and then you're going to change roles. Tell the story of what made this such a fulfilling experience, and what was it about you and others that made it so. So we're going to manage this actually tightly because of our time, so you're going to get 3 minutes each to interview. So find a partner if you would now, and then begin sharing the story, and then you interview that person to get more details with regard to that story, if you would please. Go ahead.
Okay, if I may, I would like to, before I introduce the members of the panel, I'd like to say two things. No, say one thing and do one thing. First of all, this flag over there, the flag of the United Nations, is our flag. reflecting more than 200 countries throughout the world. And this flag is sending a message, the message that we're so nicely, so humbly, so transparently sharing today at this hour, April 12, 2012. That's number one. Very important flag to many people in the world. And second, being the president of the Fulbright Association chapter of the Niagara region, by the way, the largest chapter of the Fulbright Association in the whole of the USA, I am very adamant about spreading the word about the Fulbright mission, which is all over the world. I just want to let you know the Fulbright program was started in 1946 by Senator Fulbright, who went to the then President Harry Truman, and they were discussing the tremendous amount of money that many countries owe the U.S. as a result, unfortunately, of this terrible, devastating Second World War. And Senator Fulbright said to President Truman, "Mr. President, why don't we establish a cross-cultural, intercultural program with all these countries?" And eventually, Congress and the Senate decided to call that program the Fulbright program, which started with students and then faculty, researchers, and so on. And I'm very proud indeed to be the president of that Fulbright chapter and the VP of its advocacy. And also, in front of you, Dr. Cabra, come here. Where is Dr. Cabra? Come here. Dr. Cabra, just a month ago, was identified by the Fulbright Commission as the recipient of a brand new Fulbright Award, Dr. Cabra. And upon these words, I'm going to give him a Fulbright pin. This is for the record. And in typical Latin way, congratulations. Thank you. Now, I will introduce the members of the international panel. First of all, I'd like to invite to come to the panel Dr. Bettina Martinez-Hackett, who hails from both El Salvador and Germany. She's in the Department of Earth Sciences, and as we heard earlier, she's a specialist in soil, earthquakes, and, of course, volcanoes, which are erupting all over the world these days. Really. Above ground, lately in Indonesia, and so on. And also I'd like to invite Dr. Imad Togimilana, a very good friend and colleague who hails from Rwanda, who has published, who is a Fulbrighter, and has had several Fulbrights. He's a member of a Fulbright commission at the national level to select Fulbright applicants. So if you have any ideas, any questions, feel free to talk to him. I'm sure he'll be in a position to help you. And Dr. Imad Togimilana is very much involved in many things, programs and publications and research projects. And also on the panel, we have Ana Castellan-Valles, Ana, who's from Mexico. She's a graduate student in creative studies and doing very well indeed in her studies. Next, on the panel, we have Papa Jean Soumaré from Senegal, who is majoring in business administration and indeed a very good student and very proud of his country in West Africa. Next on the panel, we have a young lady, a graduate student from China, Rujin Wen, who is finishing a master's degree in biology. And also we have a graduate student from Spain. Where? Ah, yes, there she is. Raquel Toyos, who just got here in January, and she's working on a graduate degree in Spanish language and literature. So indeed, this is our international panel, and each one of them has specifically been invited to speak no more than 4 minutes about their coming here, the good and bad things, and really the good and bad things. And then there'll be energy, synergy, a lot of good things happening between our international panel and all of you. Thank you. Dr. Campbell.
Thank you very much. I have to make some modifications. because we need to finish at 1:30.
Ah.
And so the 4 minutes have now been changed to 3 minutes.
Oh, great.
Or less.
Or less.
So, because we do want to have an opportunity at the end to be able to look for ways to take it forward. And so, if you would, I wouldn't mind, if you don't mind starting, Anna,
Yes.
with sharing with us your
Okay.
story.
Only 3 minutes.
Or less.
Okay. I'm an international student. I'm a graduate student. I am studying creativity studies. And I just want to talk something about when I came here, I missed a lot of my country. And I was trying to look for things familiar to me. And I couldn't find it at all. So I took 2 classes. One was 559. And my advisor, who is my teacher, he taught me how to be tolerant with the differences, with the psychological differences with the people. And then I took another class with Dr. Cabra. And I took the type personality inventory, and I realized that I was so different than the people around me. And I'm so different because I am an international student. So I think it's difficult to be different, and I think it's difficult to tolerate the differences of the people. And so now I want to think that instead of looking at the things and feel frustrated because I cannot feel my country here, now I say, okay, this is a different experience. Everything is different. I have a different way to talk. I have a different way to feel the things. I have a different way to live. So I think as an international students, we have a very good experience being totally different from this place, and I invite you to be different in your own place.
Thank you very
3
much.
minutes.
Anna.
Okay.
Yes,
Good.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Papa John, you want to-
Hi, my name is Papa Jean Soumar. I'm from Senegal, and since we have 3 minutes or less, I'll go quick. So, I mean, I'm originally from Senegal, but I lived in France. But that transition was very easy to me. So, because Senegal is a French-speaking country, but in U.S. that's where the major problem I'll say was where when I arrived here, I had a lot of difficulties, especially expressing myself. I learned English before, but I mean, the way people speak here is totally different. You have to listen very carefully. And just to say, like, international students, I think in general, don't always do the first step in meeting people because there is that cultural barrier you were talking about earlier. Like, we are kind of afraid sometimes to speak, or especially personally, I don't like asking people several times to repeat themselves because I can't understand them. So I have the tendency to put myself in a bubble where I'm just by myself because I don't want to ask the teacher 20 times the same thing. So, I mean, for those who are teachers here, I guess you have to make the first step, I mean, towards the international students, kind of push them to speak up. And I had a couple of teachers that did that, and I mean, some of you present who helped me actually. For example, Professor Lombardo, I think, and Dr. Jean-François Gounard, and I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, I'm Rujin. I'm a graduate student from biology department, and this is my last semester at Buffalo State. So, so the first time when I was here, starting my graduate study, the most difficult thing for me is to read the research paper. That's my first time to read the whole, like, 10 pages of research paper. But it takes me about 2 days to understand the whole thing, but it only takes 2 hours for the American students to finish reading those. And then the embarrassing thing is we need to present and answer the questions right in the class. Like, the teacher just assign a group, and then we need to answer we need to analyze the data and what happened in the research paper. So that's the most difficult thing for me. Even though I know what's happening, but I just can't explain. But most of the time, my advisor, they know me, so I can write it down, and then they know what I'm saying, but I just can't say it in a class in a very confident way. So I talked to my advisor, and then they all understand me and give me advices on how to read a research paper. And also, right now I'm a teaching assistant, so I'm a lab instructor, so I can talk to students and teach the students on the 200 levels, undergraduate students. So I have direct contact with American students, so they can talk to me what happened in their daily life, and then I can share the ideas with them too. And also, there is a lot of things I don't understand when they are talking, like some sentence I don't understand, and then they just totally blank. So they always like explain in a simple way to me. So now I have friends in my department, and all the professors know me. So I'm really feel confident over here. Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Raquel. I'm from Spain, and I came here last year as an exchange student. So I think that was really helpful because I met a lot of people. I was with my international group, but we also met a lot of American people. And we actually felt really welcome here. Like, I don't know, like all the people wanted to know more about our cultures and our countries and everything. And so this year when I came back, everything was so easy because I know a lot of people. And now, well, I have a friend, this is from Jordan, but like the rest of my friends are from here. But like they always help me, because sometimes it's really difficult when you go somewhere and you don't understand that person. It's like you don't really feel comfortable asking all the time to repeat it. But if you have someone next to you that like they are from here, they can explain it to you. And so I think I had a great experience here.
Thank you.
I'm Bettina Martinez-Hacker from the Earth Sciences Department. I'm faculty here. And I've been around as a faculty for about a year, but before that also teaching for about 5 years. And how to tell you a story in 3 minutes, I don't know. So I'm going to be very scientific and be kind of factish. I have 2 cultural heritages, El Salvadorian and German. They're very different from each other, so that was already a little bit ambivalent to grow up with. I lived in both countries, I've lived in both cultures, and then I came here in the United States about 15 years ago to do my graduate studies at the University at Buffalo. The hardest part for me was, as you pointed out, reading a chapter. The lectures were every week 1 or 2 chapters to read as homework, and it took me a day or 2 in that first semester of graduate studies here to actually just even get through the chapter. So that was really hard, really hard. So I have a lot of appreciation when somebody sits in my class and has an accent and try to understand, okay, where is your level of understanding this, and how much I'm trying to understand how much can I actually expect from the student. I'm expecting the same, sorry, but it gives you an appreciation that the student may need a little bit of extra guidance in terms of understanding some words, simply vocabulary. Writing, a nightmare. And certainly when you went to meetings, the acronyms, USRF, GGSI, IBM, this. I'm just sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I do not understand a word of this English that's being spoken, and I'm supposed to be the scribe. So very quickly, I stopped being the scribe for any kind of meeting, thankfully. So that was a very big thing. In terms of cultural differences, one of the hardest parts for me, even though I've been exposed to various different cultures in my life, was food. We adore food in El Salvador. Even the Germans do adore food. I mean, they can be pretty, like that. And food here is not adored. And that hurts me. I like to eat from a porcelain plate on a tablecloth. Sit down and be tranquil. I don't like the little fast, like here and there and talking and having coffee and running around with a coffee cup. Number one, it's not very nice for the environment. But number two, it's disgusting to me. I'm sorry to say that. It's appalling. So I miss that a lot. That's one of the things that brought some of the international friends that I have and even faculty that I have, and I have actually converted some of the faculty too, that brings us together. We're sharing that type of experience, the love of our own food, to cook or something like that. So that was very big. The other thing that I think was very difficult here at the beginning when I arrived, not only at Buffalo State, but also at Buffalo State, understanding the appropriate social ways of interacting with each other as friends or as colleagues. Because here in America, everybody says hi and how are you? And of course, if somebody asks me hi and how are you, spilling out. I'm spilling out my heart. And they look at me and go, oh, good. So I had to learn that the hard way. Other than that, you have to take it with humor. So find somewhere your humor, even if it's German and nobody understands it. And, it's humor is a good strategy. Not taking yourself and your own self too seriously will help you a great deal. That's my point of the story.
And last but not least, I hope, Aimable Twagirimana, as Dr. Gunnar said, I was born and I grew up in Rwanda in Central/Eastern Africa. I consider myself a global citizen, and when I use the term global citizen, I mean, someone who's actually aware of local realities, before actually, getting into global, issues. Before I came to the United States, I had, lived in England and other countries, and since then I have actually lived in, France, Belgium, of course Rwanda, Great Britain here, and I've visited a number of other countries. And when I went through school, I had teachers from Belgium, France, Great Britain, the United States, etc. So that when I came here, really, I didn't experience any shock. That kind of thing they call cultural shock. To me, has never been really a reality. I came here in July 1992. On a Fulbright scholarship to do my PhD in American literature at the University at Buffalo. And I joined the Department of English here in 95. And I'm really happy to say that I have had a very collegial environment that has helped my career. And there are no complaints on that on that level. Really. As an instructor, I strive to help my students connect to the global realities. As I encourage them, I remember doing this yesterday actually. As I encourage them actually to be first well rooted into their own communities, because you cannot be a good global citizen if you are not a good local citizen. So my story is long, of course. I don't think I can do it justice in 3 minutes. And I hope to answer more questions about myself during the discussions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Earlier, you saw a Frenchman, that is Dr. Gunnar, kiss another man who is originally his parents from South America, doing this in a typical Anglo-Saxon Puritan context. You are branded as negative forever. But this, in the Latin world, is a very common thing. All right? People hugging, kissing. Yes. There's nothing wrong with this. All right? And people from those parts of the world who are not originally from North America feel frozen sometimes. Yes. And I understand exactly what you're saying. So there is something there. We have a mission. We have a role. And today, we heard, speaking in the same voice, international student scholars, international faculty staff saying, we are here, we have problems, we would like to reach out, and people out there do not understand us. And I could give you many examples. People in the Arab world, men hold hands by the little finger. I've been there, I've seen it, okay? Doing this in this part of the world. Oh, goodness, you're in jail, all right? Have you ever ridden in an elevator here? I love to ride in a crowded elevator. I mean, in my culture, you touch people, you reach out. Here, people just, they freeze and they don't reach out to each other. This is the beauty of it. Yes, sir.
I have to say, I have to admit, sometimes I don't know who to hug and whose hand.
Yeah. I know.
This is good.
I know
But
exactly
you know,
what
point
you
of
mean.
fact,
And if I hug the wrong person, they're going to be like, wow, what are you doing?
Yeah.
but these are small things. Many different things, like in Japan, the females are not expected to look at you in the eyes. And this, in other cultures, is considered rude and polite. But people don't know the difference, okay? So there are many, many things that we should be doing, that this is the royal we, for us, this sacred group of ours. And believe me, we have thoroughly enjoyed this seminar, this other committee of ours. And the point of fact, the International Club on this campus is having its 29th annual International Fiesta this Saturday. It's going to be in Rockwell Hall. And believe me, those internationals have come together, have done a beautiful job, and really tremendous job. And for the first time, they will have the reception right here in the Birchfield Penny Center. So I'd like to encourage each one of you, at least spread the good word, to come this Saturday in Rockwell Hall, starting at 6 o'clock. And they have a beautiful events coming. They are reaching out to the community. And Buffalo State is part of the community. No wonder that our president decided that this coming year was going to be the year of the city. We can make it happen. Dr. Pepper. I said it all. And, I just want to thank you really for our committee. This has been very gratifying. And any comments, good or bad, feel free to send them to me on email. I'll put them in a special folder and we'll follow up on them. Thank you so very much. Enjoy the good food. And, we don't have China, but the food was as close as possible. Thank you.